So again, my name is Tommy Donaldson. I'm the director of our school-age child care program. I'm very excited to start this school year. When we start this school year on the 5th, that'll be the start of my 28th year of working here at the South Mountain YMCA. I've been in many capacities from the moment I was in college to today in different roles and responsibilities at this location and at the East Orange YMCA location. So very proud of this community and what it represents and this program and what it represents. So I'm very happy to take this new year journey with you as I start my 28th year here. I'm going to share my screen now and we'll go through our short presentation, and there'll be plenty of time for questions at the very end. So here we go. So our school-age childcare program, we have 10 locations for our after-school program and our before-school program. So we have Clinton, we have Bolden, we have Marshall, we have Seth Boyden, we have South Mountain Annex, and before care is actually held at the big school, and we'll go through that in a second. We have South Mountain Elementary School, Tuscan, our Montrose preschool program, and offsite locations at the program center and St. Joe's. From a before care perspective, South Mountain Elementary School host the Annex kids. So if you are signed up for South Mountain Annex and before care, we will provide, or the school district provides busing for you that we will escort your children to that bus when that bus comes around 7:45, between 7:35 and 7:45 is when that bus comes. For our after school program, our offsite busing, the YMCA arranges all that transportation. So the program center, if you're signed up to our offsite from the Annex, South Mountain Elementary School, or Marshall School, your child will be bused to our program center. If you're bused from Clinton, Tuscan, Seth Boyden, or Bolden, your child will go to our St. Joe's program. And again, we arrange for that transportation. It's already been taken care of. And there's nothing that you need to do with the district as per transportation to our offsite locations. Anytime that you feel that you need to change your child's schedule in any way, shape, or form, this form is on the screen right now. It's a link to a Google document that you can edit at any time. So if you want to drop in if you have a partial week schedule where you will only attend 2 to maybe 1 day to 4 days and you need an additional day, starting in October 1st, you can start using our drop-in program. You would fill out this form, and every day I'm going into this form and making sure that we can approve the requests. Whether you have a schedule change and your life changes and your needs change at home, we can always make changes based on capacity at our sites and make sure that these changes are made. All changes need to be submitted by Wednesdays at noon for us to process them on Wednesday afternoon and Thursday, and then inform our staff on Friday for the upcoming week. If you choose to cancel from our program, we do require 30 days notice, and all of that is done via this form as well. If you are signed up for our vacation camp program, we do require a 5 business day notice if you're going to cancel from our vacation camp. Okay, once a request is done, we will send a confirmation that the change has been made, and we will go from there. Tuition policies. Our school-age childcare program is designed with a start and an end date. So your tuition has been divided over the number of weeks that our program is in session. So sometimes, like for the first week of school, we only have 2 days. You are billed for an entire week based on the way we've done our payment plan for our program. So even during December, when there is no childcare, there is still a bill that is processed each week, even though you are not in that week. So that is taken from a weekly tuition that is broken down from our overall tuition for the year. Okay, our payments will be processed on Sunday nights leading into Monday by our automated system. So there's no breaks in case, or there's no payment breaks due to our closures for any kind. General SACC information, our program hours. Before care program starts at 7:15 at all of our sites and goes to the the time of school opening. And then aftercare begins at school dismissal and goes to 6:30 a. That should be p.m. 6:30 p.m. Our first day of school is a week from today, September 5th, and our last day is June 17th. When there's a 4-hour day or early dismissal day, we do offer care on most of those days. If you are not scheduled for one of those days, you must request, and you need the additional time, you must request that on the that schedule change form. We will try to accommodate as many children on that day as we can, based on our capacity. On Wednesday, November 27th, which is the day before Thanksgiving, Friday, December 20th, which is the day before our winter break, those 2 half days we do not cover. And Friday the March 7th is a staff development day that is one of the parent-teacher conference days that we're letting you know now that we will be closed so we can do some staff development in the spring to better prepare our staff for some changes or some professional development so we can provide better support to all of you for your children. When you do come to an early dismissal day, please make sure that you are packing a peanut-free or a nut-free lunch, as all of our programs do generally have children who have allergies, and we want to make sure that we are safe and inclusive for all. Whenever the YMCA has heard from the school district that there's an emergency closing or a delayed opening, the YMCA does not have before care or the YMCA does not have snow care if the schools are closed. There's been, in my 27 years, there's been only 2 incidences where schools have closed before the end of school. So if school closes at, let's just say at 1 o'clock, but it was supposed to be a regular day, the YMCA does not have aftercare, and you will have to have alternate arrangements to pick up your children at that early dismissal time. There are times where the district will not allow. Also, we will finish out the day at 3 o'clock or 2:23 or 3:15, whenever school is getting out. We will finish out the day, but the district does not allow us to be in the building due to the impending weather that may be coming. So we may be forced to close our programs based on what the school district does and says for their own staff and their own building needs. Before care drop off. If you are registered for before care, Bolden, Tuscan, Marshall, and South Mountain, you're going to use an entrance by the cafeteria doors. By Montrose, the best thing to do is park behind the school. There is a gate and a path behind that school to lead you straight into where the playground area is. And if you're looking at the back of the school, facing the school, the door all the way to your right is the entrance to the gym, and that's where our staff will be. At Seth Boyden until 8:15, our staff are waiting by the a door that's to the left of the main entrance. And the kids will be signed in at that door, so you can just park along the loop. Once 8:15 hits, if you're sending your child to before care, you must walk them to the back of the school to where the cafeteria is. Please also do not park in any of the school parking lot spots, as teachers are reporting to school at the same time as our programs in morning care. We do get a couple complaints every year that parents are parking where the teachers are assigned to park, and it's a disruption to their morning. Aftercare pickup at our school-based sites, the doors will be, the pickup location will be at the doors of the cafeteria. At Montrose, it's that same back door that leads to the gym. And at our program center, it's the far right glass door as you enter the parking lot at 13 Jefferson Ave. And at St. Joe's, it's the far left door as you face the school at 240 Franklin Ave, and it's adjacent to the parking lot. Remember that when you're picking up for the first time, or if there's an alternate picking up for the first time, ID is required. All of our staff are trained to make sure that we are releasing our children to only authorized people based on your health form. You all should have been invited to fill out your health form, and if you are a returning parent from a camp or from a previous year of childcare, please make sure you're going in and updating those forms. We will be printing those forms from all of our sites early next week, so we can make sure that we have the right contact information for you all In case of emergencies, for whatever reason, we need to contact you to understand all allergies and any special needs that you may have for your family and your child in our program. Medical needs. If your child does have any medical needs and you need us to provide you with daily or emergency medications to your child, there are these 4 steps that need to be followed. You need to submit a permission to medicate form, which can be either emailed to you from myself, Zach, or Naisha, who is our other assistant assistant school age childcare director. And we can email, or you can find it at our sites. All of our site supervisors will have that on site with them. The medication must be in the original container. So if it's like an EpiPen or an inhaler, whatever box you got that from the pharmacy in, that's what the box. It can't just be the EpiPen. We also need on the medication the child's name, the dosage, the doctors, and aside from that, we also need a care plan from the doctor to explain how to administer that medication. These are all state requirements from licensing, and that's why it is imperative that we have all that information so we can best protect your child as well. If you have multiple medication, each medication needs its own form, and please be mindful of expiration dates on medications before giving them to us. And we'll try to keep track of that and send reminders when we see you at pickup that things may be expired, that we are going to need new versions or new prescriptions on site for these. If they need to be taken home each day because you don't have enough, we do ask for you to request more or duplicate availability so we can keep it on site with us at all times. It does become troublesome when they have to go back and forth if it forgot to be put on in the backpack from soccer, from dance class, or something like that. So we like to make sure that we can protect your child at all times. So we like to hold on to that for the duration of the school year. Our SACC programming. In before care, it's a lot of just table games and arts and crafts. If you attend either Seth Boyden or Clinton School and you're signed up for the breakfast program, we will allow your child to go over to that breakfast program and participate in that and then come back to us. Or they can just bring their food over and eat with us at our tables. We try not to mix the 2 programs together because you are paying for a service from us, and those other children are just benefiting from that breakfast program. If the space allows, we may do some physical play. Some cafeterias lend itself, like Clinton does not have any space for that, but Tuscan does have some open physical space that we can shoot some basketballs or play some 2-square or have some organized physical games as well. In aftercare, we are going to be having some recreation time, which means them going out on the playground or on the blacktop or doing their own thing in the gym. Some organized games that we may be doing, some sports, some kickball, some gaga, those are some of the popular ones. Arts and crafts, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, math, performing arts, culture and diversity activities, social emotional learning, and homework time. During our homework time, we will allow the children this year to be on their computers for 20 minutes. If they need additional time on that computer, that can be worked out on an individual basis. We've had some challenges in the past with some children playing too many games on the computer, and we do like them to spend more time socially interacting than just paying attention to a screen. So we try to limit the number of games that they're playing and make sure that their screen time is really focused on their homework. All of our sites are going to be having an in-person meet and greet on September 4th from 5 to 6 p.m. at the program or the school locations that you have signed up for. So all of our staff are going to be there earlier in the day, setting up and making sure their supplies are ready and activities are set for the first couple of weeks of school. And at 5 p.m., you can go in and meet our staff and meet the site supervisors. Myself, Zach, and Naisha may be popping by at some of these sites, and we look forward to meeting all of you eventually. But it's a great way to familiarize your child with the program, with the staff, and get a feel for any last minute questions that you may have that may be site specific to your child. Please bring your children too. It should be a lot of fun. There will be some activities planned, some table stuff, nothing too crazy or too wild, because we don't know exactly how many people are coming, and we just want to make sure that it's like an open house for all of you to get all of your final questions answered and make sure you are mentally and your child is mentally prepared to be in that space. For the YMCA is for all, so we do provide financial assistance to make sure that we are keeping our programs affordable to all. So if there's ever a need where you're going through a situation within your own family and you need assistance, please reach out to anybody here at the YMCA and we can forward you this link. You can also find this link on our website for you to apply for financial assistance at any time. We also accept a program called Program for Parents. Miss Gladys from our Welcome Center, Gladys Ricci, is our main point of contact for setting up our contracts with this program for parents. So please look out and reach out to her at the 973-762-4145 number, our main YMCA number, and she can help you with any needs regarding programs for parents. So we have a couple things coming up in the for our Y happenings. So we are bringing everybody to our welcome back to school social. So we are planning on having a ice cream social on September 18th at the YMCA at 13 Jefferson Avenue. More details and time to come, but it's a very light program of just introducing some of our programming and our directors and just having a good time. There will be some games and activities on the field, maybe a bounce house or two, and we're going to have a good time. So please, it's a free event. Come meet our directors, meet all of our staff. It won't be all of our site staff, but it'll all be our leadership staff at the Y. On the October 26th, we are going to have our trunk or treat event, and that's free to the community. And we're looking forward to another fun Halloween event. Eventually, we are going to have some Friday night programming, which happens mainly at St. Joe's, sometimes at the Civic House, where you can take an opportunity to have a nice meal with your significant other, with some other friends, and kids can be entertained in a social setting with a theme at our Friday night program. With Evening With, it's geared K-2, and it's really age-appropriate activities for that versus Clubhouse, which is 3 through 5. That's going to happen once or twice a month, and a schedule will be going out very shortly, probably within the next week. We just got the invite to fill out the forms to get them on the ActiveNet for registration. We also have vacation camp programs on October 3rd and 4th and November 5th. And it's actually November 5th, 7th, and 8th. So we're covering all 3 days in November and the 2 days in October for both our preschool program and our school age program. Preschool program will have one location and our school age program will have another. There are limited spots to both based on staffing and availability for full day programming. So please, the registration should be ready by the 12th of September. It will be emailed out, but you can always search on our ActiveNet portal and register immediately when it's open. But I'm going to try to make sure that it is open on September 12th. Vacation camp is from 7:15 a.m. to 6 p.m. For our school age and 7:15 a.m. and 4 p.m. for our preschool program. We are excited to be able to offer full day care on those days where schools are off. Eventually, if you have more questions or concerns, please reach out to myself, Naisha, Zach, Marion, or Jessica, and you can see their roles and what sites they are responsible for. So right now, I am the contact person for all of Before Care. We are in the process of hiring an additional assistant director who will be in charge of Before Care. But until that happens, I'm taking the lead on any concerns or logistical challenges that we may be having in staffing that for Before Care. And of course, I'm the be all to end all if you need something from an aftercare perspective. We do encourage that you discuss any needs that you may have or concerns that you may have with our site supervisors first, and then escalate to our program admin at Bolden and Marshall, which is Marion Judge, and or Zach and Nye for the respectful schools on the screen here. But at this time, we are done with our presentation, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we can open it up to any questions that may be in the chat. Zach, do we have any questions that are in the chat?
We do. So is there any possibility of opening more on-site care slots given the demand?
So yes, there is conversations that we are starting right now to see what we can do. The challenging thing that we have is based on licensing. The spaces that we have are licensed to capacity. And based on the amount of children that are in need in this community, that's very difficult. So it would have to be an agreement with schools and getting classrooms licensed and working with not only the superintendent, but each individual school to make sure that that can happen. We are always looking for more and more space within the schools, but we also are competing with space with soccer programs, with other after school Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and other things to make sure that we can provide the best physical spaces through programming as well. So we are always looking for more spaces and to accommodate more children on site, but we also know that's also a give and take with what the schools can provide as well. But it's a never-ending conversation, to keep that completely honest.
We also have a question for early dismissal days. Would aftercare still go until 6:30 p.m.?
On an early dismissal day, if school closes due to inclement weather, and the school district will send out an automated message through text and through phone call that says there will be no sports or after school programming allowed in the schools. So if they do send that out, we are closed. And we will then follow up with communication from ourselves through our player space messaging that Zach and I can also do directly from our cell phones. So it doesn't matter where we are, we can always send out a communication to you via that player space messaging system, via text, and via email.
Now, what about planned half days, right?
I'm sorry, planned what?
So let's say one of our schools has half days and we're covering care for the day. Yes. Those programs still go to 6:30, right?
Yes, the end time on a early dismissal planned one, like a half day. Yes, we are still there till 6:30. We are there committed to the full day.
And next question, is there vacation camp for Christmas break?
No, there is no vacation camp during Christmas break.
In regards to before care, can students be dropped off anytime between 7:15 and the beginning of school for before care?
Yes, you can drop off anytime you want between 7:15 and the start of before care. Just know the closer you get to that start of school time, the crazier the environment gets with that around that school, especially if that school has busing. So if there's we will answer the door up until the time of dismissal, but just know that the environment, whether it's, because I know Tuscan doesn't provide busing, so all these parents are driving and parking and dropping their kids off. And sometimes they all wait there until their kids get actually dismissed into that school. So the environment around the school can be a little chaotic just by the nature of a school day starting, but we will take kids up until the time of dismissal to school.
Okay, and just to confirm, aftercare, it does start next Thursday, September 5th, correct?
Yes. Our first day of school. So one of the things that we also do every week and it's going to be happening on Tuesday of next week, we send a list of kids that come to each one of our programs. So every school will get 2 lists, who's going to be staying on site and who's going to be staying off site. Generally, they also coach their teachers, and it's instructed by us to coach their teachers to then mentally prepare the children to come to, whether it's the cafeteria, or wherever, the gym, based on Montrose, they go to the gym. But all other schools go to the cafeteria. If your child is going to an offsite location, Their report space is still the cafeteria. We will have them in a separate area, so when our bus gets there, the staff come in and can collect those kids rather quickly, and they will have the same meeting spot in that cafeteria at all times. The only difference also is from South Mountain Main School, they will go to the auditorium. Our start location for aftercare to that location is the auditorium, and the annex is their gymatorium, which is their cafeteria, gym, and auditorium. But everybody else will go to their cafeterias and wait for our bus. And all schools are going to be communicated with each week as kids add into our program, may change their days. They will have a full roster of where, and they also like to know who's in their building at what time as well.
True. Now, if a child is going to be missing from aftercare on a specific day, what is the protocol for parents letting us know?
Yes, so we will ask you to email us or text the site cell phone. Texting is probably the best option. So that goes directly to our site supervisor. If you and then we will make sure that if we don't hear from you, we try to verify that that child is absent and that we are not expecting them. So we know who we're caring for at all times.
Right on. And then, of course, when Beyond the Bell starts up, Tommy, if they're signed up for aftercare, they just dismiss back into our care, correct?
So from a Beyond the Bell perspective, it all depends on the time that Beyond the Bell starts. So some Beyond the Bell programs have 2 different time starts, or it won't be directly after school. We do have a late arrival form that you will be emailed out at that time when Beyond the Bell starts to let us know that your child is not going to report directly to us first. Then we will keep a running total of who's in Beyond the Bell. Because Beyond the Bell is also run by the YMCA, we have great relations with those people who run Beyond the Bell, and we have easy access. What they also will do is, based on a day or two before registration, before the program starts, they will email us a list of the children who are attending each location, and then we can just know that we also don't expect them. But we like you to communicate that to us as well, just so nothing gets lost in translation. I did see that there is an email about our site cell phones. That was in a welcome email that did go out. There is an attachment. If you do need the site cell phone numbers, you can email Zach or myself, and we can make sure that that happens. And for those of you, I'll just share one more time. Our contact information is right there on the screen.
Very good. In regards to contacting too, if someone is on the authorized pickup list for a child, do parents need to notify us who's picking them up each day?
No, it's a common courtesy. You might want us to let us know, because sometimes the kids get worried if mom and dad aren't here by the normal time. So if there is an alternate pickup coming, we can mentally prepare not only our staff or somebody that's different. Please make sure they do have the ID. But once we learn who they are, they can pick up at any time, because you have authorized that. If that changes, you can please email us and let the site supervisors know, so we can make sure that we are not releasing your child to somebody who you don't wish to release them to at any time. Whether it's a custody issue, whether it is a babysitter has moved out of the way, or you're displeased with a babysitter's performance and you don't want them to pick up anymore, let's just protect your child together the best way we know.
Right. Another common courtesy, you don't always need to let us know what time you're picking up. You're free to pick up anytime up to 6:30. We just ask that by 6:30, they return back to you. But it could help us and the staff on sites for your programs if you do send a text message. So that way we can have your child ready and able to be picked up as fast as possible so you can get on with your busy days. Now, I do have another question, Tommy. How do you handle the waiver request for the medication form if you do not have medication needs?
Then you do not, if you, on our act or on our player space, on that form, there you could, if it requires you to put something, just put NA on that waiver form. Okay, if it requires you to, like, because it's a necessary field, just make sure that you just hit type in NA or no medications needed or something like that, if that helps you bypass whatever that may be. I don't want you to be held up with forms over a technicality. So sometimes these forms just require something to be written in that text box. So you can just simply write no medication needed.
Right. Can we confirm real quick too? For Seth Boyden for before care, are parents allowed to drop off in the loop for drop off?
Yes, up until 8:15, because they also, that loop is also reserved for all of their busing. So our staff member will be at the door. If you face the school, there's a door directly to your left before you hit the auditorium. It's kind of tucked into a corner, and we will have a staff member with a clipboard right then and there. And we will sign your kids in. And then they will go down to the cafeteria where we will have additional staff members ready to care for your children.
Okay. I mean, are all incoming kindergartners from Clinton, are they going to offsite at St. Joe's?
No, not all incoming kindergartners are. If you are unclear with what you are registered for, you can reach out and we can clear that up for you. You can call, you can email us, and we can always check the program, but it would have been what you were registered for back in May or over the summer.
Right on. And Tommy, what's the fastest way to find out and meet our staff at each of our programs?
This to meet the staff?
Yeah.
To come to our open house on the 4th.
Right
From
on.
5 to 6 p.m. At all of our sites. So they're going to be ready to welcome you in and meet the staff. They may not be able to exactly tour you from your classroom, because we really at that time only have access to our cafeterias or our program spaces, but at least you can familiarize your kids with the cafeteria themselves and with the staff who will be there.
Got it. In regards to before care, Tommy, at one point you mentioned that some schools allow more gross motor activities. Which schools are those?
Mainly, it's just Tuscan and Marshall. Marshall, we do have access to the gym in the morning, twice a week. We have an agreement with that gym teacher. In Tuscan, they have an additional space where we don't have to put out all the tables. That cafeteria is rather large, but unfortunately, those are the only two that we really have access to. And those are the two of the three schools that have, and Montrose has some physical space as well, because they're in the gym. Other than that, the other schools, they're not South Mountain and the Bolden. They're very small, short programs where they're only there for an hour. So we really don't have a lot of space in there to have organized games from a physical perspective.
Gotcha. Just to confirm one more time, are we doing vacation camp on the 7th and 8th?
Yes, we are. For both preschool, I must have gotten distracted when I did that. Yes, so we have the 5 days of vacation camp planned for the fall. Then the next day after that will be Martin Luther King Day. The following day after that will be President's Day, which is the Monday. Unfortunately, we don't get a winter break this year. We only have 1 day. And then we'll have our full week in April. And all of that time, all of the January and on dates will be available probably starting in December. But right now, we are only going to be putting in our October and November dates. And then there potentially may be, there are give back days in May, based on if we use our emergency closing days. So the school reserves on the school calendar the Monday and the Friday, the Tuesday and the Friday that surrounds Memorial Day as closure days as well. So potentially there may be vacation camp offered on those days as well. But that we'll have to see what the school district does with school closing and what Mother Nature does with our weather. But around that time is also one of our favorite events, the duck race. So if you don't know about the duck race, you're in for a treat in May while we start celebrating ducks all over the YMCA and in our after school programs and before school programs. And you're looking at the guy who's in the river collecting 1,000 ducks 6 times, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great community event, but you'll hear more about that in the springtime.
Great. And if anyone has questions regarding tuition, verifying payments, things like that, who do we direct them to, Tony?
So general questions about finances, you can either contact me, or you can and if I can answer your question, I will gladly do so. Otherwise, I may refer you to either Nicole Sandena, who is our childcare registrar, or Gladys in our welcome center, or Nicole Josie in our welcome center, who can best help you navigate the ActiveNet system.
Great. And this slide that we've presented here with email addresses and other details, is that being emailed out to our parents?
So this whole entire presentation has been recorded, and this will be being sent out to everybody, hopefully by Tuesday.
Got it. So our registration on September 12th, is that for the October vacation camp?
Yes, for the vacation camps that are coming, and maybe those Friday night programming, if I can include them all on the same entry sheet that we have to provide to our software specialist who input that in our ActiveNet system.
Another question, does the Y coordinate with the school, or do parents have to let them know that they will be at aftercare, even at offsite locations?
So even whether you're on-site or off-site, each week we send the school admin team, the principals, and the administrative assistants in the office a list of children who are attending our program for the upcoming week. So we generally will send that out on Thursday or Friday to them, and then so they know on Monday where the kids are going. Sometimes we will also highlight the kids that are either leaving the program or starting new in the program, or switching programs. If you are switching from offsite to onsite or onsite to offsite, we've had both things happen. We will make sure that the school district is aware of that. Each individual school is aware of that for their own needs.
Right on. If parents are not receiving the welcome letter, where may that issue lie?
We are trying to put that, I believe Kate was trying to put that on our website. But if you've not received that, you can also reach out to me and I will try to send that out.
Great.
It was sent out via something called MailChimp. And in the past, if you've opted out of some of our communication, you may not have gotten that. So you can email myself, or guess what? I'm going to put another email in the chat in a second, once I find the chat. Kate, Kate Sestar will make sure that she can check your account in MailChimp to see if you've opted out, so then you can opt back in, and she will work with you. So if we do have mass communications like this again, that they will go out that way. Our player space has not been completely set up until very recently, as of you all got access to that yesterday. So we wanted to make sure that was our best way to communicate to everybody. Usually if we need to communicate with you guys, it'll be site specific. It may be the same message sent out to every site, but it will be sent through that player space messaging system. If we also need to add additional email addresses or contact information to that player space for a spouse or a significant other to be part of that, you can also let us know, and we will try to make that happen within the first week.
Okay. And just to confirm again, Tommy, one more time, before care and after care, they start next Thursday, September 5th?
Yes, they do. Our staff are going to be ready and on site and ready to go, and our buses are ready to bring kids to our offsite location. So we are excited to get this school year started, and my 28th year started.
And on September 4th from 5 to 6, we will be inviting everyone to come to a meet and greet at our programs.
Yep, and you can
able to meet the staff, obtain information, site specific, site cell phones, things like that.
And also, if you have any medication needs that you need to drop off, that's a great time to drop that off. Explain your child's individual needs at that time, and it tends to be a little bit more focused versus the first day of school. That might be a little bit like everybody's coming in at different times. And it just gives you the time and the energy to have with our staff at that meet and greet.
Okay, Tommy, it seems that I have run out of questions.
So if anybody has any additional questions that they want to unmute themselves and ask in person, Zach and I will stay on for a couple minutes, but we are going to stop this recording now. And then we will